I'm Pule Molebati for Stories Untold. Thank you for being here. Over a decade ago, Mafule Muswane, together with his friends, started an NGO called Faculty of Best Advisory, otherwise known as the FBA. Now, this initiative was to afford learners who come from previously disadvantaged communities an opportunity to have access to higher learning institutions. Now, before we get to that, here is the man behind the story.
Mafule Muswane's long walk to success began in these streets of Wattville, a township near Benoni in Ekurhuleni. From 2008 until 2010, he became a regular in Dube Street where he lived with his father, Ntshekhengwatu Muswane, who works as a motor mechanic.
My name is Mafule Muswane. I was born in a remote rural village of Thabamphiri Masemola in the Limpopo province of South Africa. That's where I grew up and did my primary and some part of my high school until I subsequently came to Wattville, Benoni to do my secondary school. And the move was actually pushed by my teachers who saw a very bright young man and said, you need to be closer to your parents so that they help you in your educational journey and support you because you're so good. And after my matric year, I went to Wits University to study geography, archaeology, and environmental studies. I got my junior degree, then honors degree, and a master's of science after all. And for me, those were some of the significant achievements because that was the dream I had when I was young. And in that process, I also managed to make it to study abroad and teach also at the first operational land-grant University of American People at Kansas State University. For me, I think I as a 30-year-old, I realized that I had achieved my ancestors' wildest dreams.
The Dalai Lama once said, share your knowledge. It is a way to achieve immortality.
This is actually the curriculum that evolved out of the work of FBA. So we theorized our work, and to put it in a form of text for sustainability reasons. First, in the phase that one day we no longer be alive, so what will remain as legacy? The books. But also to say, when people buy our books, it will be a sustainable funding model for FBA. And we want to set people up for success. Because some of us, we never had people who guided us in terms of how to access post-schooling opportunities, and this book does that, a learner's guide to academic success. So it's like a blueprint for every learner who wants to achieve academic success. It's the Bible of every learner in South Africa who want to make it anywhere in the world.
He is not only a self-starter, there is also a spirit of being an activist and a revolutionist within him. When George Floyd was murdered, he was in the United States and he supported the Black Lives Matter campaign, a move that nearly cost him his life and sanity. These are the recollections of that period from his father.
He's telling us they're threatening him, whatever. He can't go to the shop. He was just in his room. People, they will knock here. Even when you speak to him, you can hear, hey, somebody's knocking here. He's got that thing in him. He's scared. And as a parent, what will you do? This guy is miles away from you. Never mind if he's in Cape Town, he's still another. It's a long distance, but in America, how am I gonna get there? Then we start to panic. He managed to get him back to the country, and it was hard. That time it was level 3 or level 2 or whatever. There were no movement. But with grace of God, you can't believe I drive from here to airport. Inside, they wait for him. There were police all over, but they couldn't stop me. How I get him out there, I don't know. He come out. First time when I saw him walking towards me, the tears start flowing. So let's get to that.
Mafule was given a new lease on life. This is something he would never take for granted.
You don't have to give up in life. You don't know what tomorrow holds for you. So you must just keep working with his friends. So, you know, when this guy was abroad, this guy, you could see piece of his body is not around.
Sibusiso Gama and Mafule Muswane met at the University of the Witwatersrand during their student years. Their bond has since intensified. These two are proof that the journey of life is never complete without a friend to share their memories with.
We became good friends in terms of academics. We were doing everything together until he shared an idea. He actually had started something at home called Faculty of Best Advisory, and the idea is such that since we are the first generation to go to university, it ends with us in terms of suffering, in terms of accessing information that leads to getting access to higher institutions. So I was sold on the idea. And I think I was quite distracted at varsity, being all over the place, but finding Mafule meant that I become way more focused than how I was before meeting him. And then our days were spent helping other people, studying and just focusing and trying to figure out how can we bring more and more people into this institution. And as we were going, we realized that it's hard. We don't only have to fight the fact that we can't speak good English. That's the first thing. Secondly, there's that cultural shock whereby everything around screams away. Nothing is comfortable. There's no soft landing.
Through FBA, other companies were birthed.
But trying to publish books through other people was so frustrating. Then we're like, let's try it ourselves. And we're like, okay, but we've got to formalize it. Out came Club Readership. And Club Readership's books, the first book from Club Readership was this one, Elena's Guide to Academic Success. And the book is going stronger and stronger. So Club Readership is an institution that publishes books that are mainly and purely Afrocentric. And the other thing we've realized is that the culture of reading and writing in South Africa or in Africa is quite dwindling. So we had to promote and revive that culture.
When we started the work of Faculty of Best Advisory, we will share with other people that this organization will have a national footprint. They will say we are too ambitious. But 10 years later, we don't only just have a national footprint, we have a continental reach. If you go to Malawi, they will tell you about FBA. We do have volunteers in Malawi in the form of Esme, Lasiwe. Our work has a global impact even. I was teaching about our work at Kansas State University. I was writing about our work in the university blog. So then the university in America embraces our work. Our people are across the world, leading conversation in conferences, referencing the work that we do.
You are still watching Stories Untold. It is prominent figures such as Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng who played a pivotal role in Mafule's life. It was through that mentorship process that now Mafule is able to mentor other young people and turn them into bigger and better people.
So you're being mentored and you are about to get into the world of work as professionals.
The role of mentorship is provision of opportunities that enables the mentees to develop and become more competent in their roles, as well as prepare them for growth opportunities in the future. One such person in Mafule's life is Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, and this is how they met.
It was very intentional. Every event she went to speak, I made sure I was there, and I always had a question to ask her until she realized that this person keeps asking me questions. Then one day she's like, you are always asking me questions. What's your name? Where'd you come from? You look like you're a smart person. Then we exchanged numbers. Then from then on, it became a continuous check-in. If, for example, she's going for a radio interview, she will take me to see how to do the interview. If she's speaking somewhere, she'll say, come and watch, even if it's online. Do you hear what I'm saying? And see how we're doing things, because we hope and wish that one day you will be at the level where we are and take things forward. Because there's a mother also who inspires me. She's not there anymore. There's a hospital named after her, Charlotte Manya Matreke. She says, kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people. When you rise, bring someone with you. So Prof. Khethi Phakeng is someone who does that. She's bringing people like us with her, so that later on when she's old and she's grown up, she doesn't have time to run around. At least she would say, those young people have groomed them to be at this level.
We are really honored.
Nokuthula Mashinini, who benefited from the mentoring services of FBA and who is now a member of the FBA Professional Mentoring Program, takes us through her journey.
FBA basically came to our school and they were there for a motivational talk with us and to just tell us more about excellence and education and all of that and how we can go further, after matric. So when I finished my matric, I still had contact with them because they would keep in touch and they would constantly visit our school throughout that 2 years. So when I finished matric, they reached out to me and just to find out what my plans were, and I told them, okay, no, I'd like to go to varsity, and that is when they helped me with my application.
She then became a student at the University of the Free State, where she studied towards a BSc in Forensic Science.
They've always been there, and now I'm actually part of the professional mentorship program because I am working myself and I have been professionally mentored by a member of FBA, and now I can actually mentor other people as well.
In my first year of university, I went through a lot of hardships, and I didn't really have anybody to talk to, or I didn't really have anybody who I could relate to, or who could relate to the problems which I was facing. And as soon as I went into second year, I said that I don't want that for anybody else. I decided that I would take my experiences and what I learned and at least try and uplift and help another first year student to not go through what I went through. And that's when I discovered the FBA, which then gave me the ability to actually be able to access and talk to and mentor first year students who are in Wits University and all other neighboring universities.
Last time we talked, you were getting ready to see your reports and you were prepping up for your exams. And so how has that been going?
It's been going well. It's been going well, thank you.
Going well. And are you currently in a good mental space? No, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm glad that you're currently in a very, very good mental space.
I grew up in the township, so where there's no motivation, where I was always told that no one passes mathematics and science. So when I was doing grade 10, I was told not to take the science stream because no one has ever passed those subjects in my area. But then I took the subjects and I got 30% and 29% for maths and science. And then when I went to grade 11, I then started working very hard and I managed to improve from 29 to 77% in mathematics and science. So FBA came when I was in matric and then they saw the potential in me. So FBA then started giving us motivation, telling us about higher institution. By the way, I didn't know that there was an institution called Wits University until FBA came to my school. They also applied for us to higher institutions. They even took us for a visit to Wits University. And then when I saw Wits University, I saw my dream. I saw that I want to be here and I will be here through my hard work and the support that I get from FBA.
This must also be responsible. So if we have meetings with them to tell them that you guys need to do certain things so that your mentors can meet you halfway.
Transitioning from a school in the township of Winterveld near Pretoria to gaining access in one of the top South African universities was not easy. But through FBA, what seemed insurmountable became manageable.
On top of what Malaika maybe said would be, remember, one of our leaders...
Because FBA was with me, it then gave me a mentor who was mentoring me. So the mentor made sure that I'm always up to date with my work. She always made sure that I know the venue where we are attending, because remember, I'm from the townships. I don't know anything about Joburg and all that. So FBA has been there. So the mentor was making sure that I'm up to date with my schoolwork. I do well.
Noreen got her degree in record time, and she's part of the Golden Key Society, which is comprised of 15% of top achievers of faculties within various universities.
You're still watching Stories Untold. Today we follow the story of founder of FBA, which is an initiative that affords young people from previously disadvantaged backgrounds an opportunity to access higher learning institutions. Now, they recently celebrated their decade milestone, and this is what they had to say.
There is one guy who is a part of FBA, and he now has a master's and pursuing a doctoral degree in astrophysics. So I think for me that is like one of the greatest things we have seen happening in FBA. And also our leader, Mafule, he's also doing amazing things in terms of academics, and that also is a motivation for us. And seeing it happen in front of us really pushes us as people who are coming after them to say, no, this is what I want for myself. And therefore you wanna share that with other people that are coming after you, you know, the learners that are following us, to say we learned from the best and we really wanna share with you what we know. So yes.
My message would be forward and upwards. So we want to impact people as much as we can. There's a program that's actually starting out, it's coding and robotics. So we want people who are part of the FBA to have the necessary skills, since we're in the 4th Industrial Revolution.
10 years later, I'm proud, number one. I'm overwhelmed, number two, and I'm hopeful that we are going to impact many more people. When we started, we used to say, instead of going with the flow, we want to be the flow. We wanted. At this point, we are the flow. We have helped so many people. Some of them are now even working. They are professionals. That's a complete product and project of FBA, meaning it works.
He must never give up. For whatever he achieved, it wasn't easy.
The same way his father was saying, we can't give up now. That's exactly the message I'm driving through to Mafule, driving through to everyone at FBA, to say, this is where we start.
A decade later, this is how they chose to celebrate. As they transcend towards their 2032 vision, this is the message from the man at the helm.
We didn't come this far just to come this far. For us, it's like those who don't believe in us now will catch the train later, or even catch the next train, because we know that what we have achieved is it's a big feat, you know. To have an organization started in a village, being embraced globally in America, and my books that I've written forming part of the curriculum, right? And my books, even those were published by Club Readership, which was the baby and is the baby of Faculty of Best Advisory, being bought by Government of South Africa, being bought by organizations like Charlotte Manya Maceke, with some universities bringing conversations that they want to buy our books. It's a big feat for us, and it's a momentous milestone 10 years later, that we believe that indeed we are the beautiful ones that Africa has long been waiting for.
What started as a way of changing the narrative of a black South African learner has far outweighed the expectations that many had.
We have immortalized it. It will live beyond me and you.
And this is where we end our show for today. Thank you so much for journeying with us as we share these untold stories of ordinary Africans with extraordinary tales. From myself, Pule Molebatsi, and the incredible team of Stories Untold. Let's do this again, same time, same place. Goodbye.